So why is phonics so important? Phonics is a starting point for reading and writing, and being able to read is one of the most important skills children will learn during their early schooling and has far-reaching implications for lifelong confidence and well-being. Phonics has been around for about 24 years, with Jolly Phonics being one of the first schemes to be tested and introduced into schools. Many other schemes have since been created and perfected, with two being very popular in schools, these being Letters and Sounds and Read Write Inc. At Bulborough, we follow Letters and Sounds, and we have found this to have very impressive results, creating strong, independent and confident readers and writers. Sounds. Although there are 26 letters in the English alphabet, there are more than 40 speech sounds, and these are taught in a systematic approach to help all children have access to early reading and writing skills. Our aim is to give children the skills to read by the age of 6, so they can then read to learn and not learn to read. We introduce 4 sounds a week, so that by the end of the first week that children have done phonics, they will already have the sounds s, a, t, p, which can be used to blend and segment to create some simple words such as pat, sat and tap. The pattern in which we introduce sounds can be found on the bookmarks we have attached onto the front of your child's reading record book.
There are lots of different words that we use when we are teaching the children phonics, so here are a few definitions that might help you at home. The first is phoneme. This is the smallest unit of sound in a word. So with the word pan, there are the phonemes p, a and n. They each are individual phonemes. Next word that we use is grapheme, and this is what we write to represent a sound or a phoneme. So this is the letter that we use to represent the sound. You will hear the word digraph a lot. This is when 2 letters make one sound. For example, ch, f, and s, as in chin, puff, and mess. There are different types of digraphs. There is a consonant digraph, which contains 2 consonants next to each other, but they make a single sound. For example, sh, k, s, and l. There is also a vowel digraph. This contains at least one vowel, but the 2 letters still make a single sound, such as a, e, r, or oi. Finally, we have the word trigraph, and this is where 3 letters make one sound. For example, I in I, high. Oral blending. In order to help the children read, we often begin teaching them to orally blend sounds. Here the child will use a series of spoken sounds and merge or blend them together to make a spoken sound. No text is used. An example is if when someone calls out the sounds b, a, s. What does it make? Bus. This is taught before blending using printed words. A tip to help your child orally blend is to encourage them to say the sounds fast so that they are fluid, and this helps them process the word quicker. It might take your child a number of times to repeat the sounds until they get the word, and this is perfectly normal. At school, we just encourage them to keep repeating the sounds, but us, but us, but us, until they work out what it is. We use a few techniques at school to help your child to blend to read and to help distinguish that each letter makes one sound. Here we use a thing called sound buttons, and these are simply small circles drawn under each phoneme. We then go through sounding them out, where we pretend to press the circles and use them as buttons. You can then decide what pace you would like your child to try and keep up with by moving your finger faster and faster to pretend you're pressing these buttons. To highlight that there are digraphs or trigraphs within the written word, we use a small line to highlight that the 2 or 3 letters make up one sound. This is where it is vital that the children begin to recognise the letters that represent the sounds so that they can find them within the texts that they are reading at home. The process called segmenting is the opposite to blending. Segmenting is what we call taking apart words in order to isolate the sounds which make up the word so that they can be spelt phonetically. This is introduced orally at first and then transferred into their writing. Here we use a technique called robot talking to help the children speak the words slowly so that they can hear the individual sounds within the words. So if your child was trying to spell the word tip, they would say t, ip, t, ip, nice and slowly, isolating the t, the I and the p. See if you can segment these words into their individual sounds. Please be aware that there are many misconceptions about how certain sounds are pronounced. For example, within the picture of the leg, lots of you would be tempted to say L, but it's actually L, the smallest unit of sound. Another misconception is with the word sun. Lots of you would think that it would be S, but it's actually S. If you're not really sure of how to pronounce some of the sounds, then please visit our website because I have created individual videos to show you how to sound out each word, as well as how to create the letter formation that we use. Another tool we use to help the child segment words are things called a phoneme frame. And this is simply boxes to show how many sounds are within that word. Your child will then speak the word using the robot talk, isolate the sounds, and then record each letter in an individual box. We use these phoneme frames for shorter words, known as CVC words, or for slightly longer words, which are CVCC words. We also use a technique known as phoneme fingers, and this is simply counting the sounds that we hear in the word as we segment it on our fingers to try and work out how many sounds need to be recorded. As well as encouraging your children to read a range of different words, we also introduce things called nonsense words or alien words. Made up words which have no meaning, and incorporating this into their learning of reading ensures that they accurately use the sounds to read any word. In reception, we don't expect your children to develop their understanding of spelling words correctly. However, there are certain words that we do encourage them to learn to sight read and also spell properly, and these are high frequency words as well as common exception words. High frequency words are words which appear often in the world and children will always come into contact with. We teach these to be read by sight rather than having to be sounded out, as this makes your child's reading and writing more fluid. Examples of these words are that, can, from, look, put. With each phonics phase, I will be sending home these words on a bookmark also so that you can practice them at home. Lots of different techniques have been used at home before that encourage children to get used to sight reading these words. I've had some people put them on steps and encourage their children to read them as they go upstairs. Some put them on doors so that every time they go through them they have to read the word, and I've even had parents putting them by the toilet. Common exception words, or as some of you know them, tricky words, are words that you can't sound out but need to be recognised as a whole. Children will learn these over time, and again these are split dependent on their phase. Some examples of these common exception words are the, she, we. Handwriting. Pencil grip is the key to good handwriting, and it's something that we concentrate on for the first few weeks whilst they're in reception. Many nurseries use the tripod grip, where 3 fingers are used to hold a pencil in place, but we use the crocodile snap, and this is where we use 2 fingers, the thumb and the index finger, to hold the pencil. If you're not sure of this, then again please look at the website, as I have included a video on how to use the crocodile snap method. Pencil pressure is also very important, as many children need to develop the strength in their hands to be able to push down hard on the pencil naturally so that their marks can be seen. At Bulborough, we incorporate pre-cursive handwriting into all aspects of writing within the curriculum, including our phonics lessons. Pre-cursive handwriting ensures that each letter has a lead-in and lead-out line. This ensures that when the children are ready to join, they know where the letters should join correctly. In my experience, it is often better to teach the children in reception the pre-cursive handwriting, as it means that they do not have to unteach themselves the non-cursive handwriting often used in foundation stages. Unteaching themselves can often be very difficult for children due to their muscle memory already being used to following certain patterns, and also their lack of understanding that every letter needs to start on the line. Unfortunately, I have seen many frustrated children in years 1 and 2 trying to learn how to join letters together, as they have not had the pre-cursive handwriting taught to them. It's horrible to see and can actually cause children's confidence in their writing to diminish. Pre-cursive writing follows patterns which enable children to become familiar with how to write the letters accurately, this making the process a little bit easier. We use rhymes to help your child remember how to form each letter. Again, these can be found on the website. Your child's handwriting may get a little bit worse when starting this style due to previous experiences with their letter formation. However, please stick at it and practice the lead-in and lead-out lines. If 2 different handwriting styles are practiced at home and at school, it can actually become far more difficult for your child to develop with their writing. They will become confused at what's expected and will not understand how letters are formed correctly. Another part of writing in reception is independence. Independence is key. Please enable your child to have a go on their own rather than getting them to join up dots to form letters in words, or sounding out words that they are writing for them, or even writing words out that they can copy. This actually causes huge problems, as children will often become reliant on these and find the writing process difficult as they cannot think of things on their own.